Welcome to Evalve Out Loud. I'm Chris Anzir. This is where I think out loud about AI in education. What's working, what isn't, what I'm building, what I'm seeing in the field, what I'm trying to figure out this week. Some of it lands, some of it doesn't. And honestly, that's kind of the whole point of this show. Let's get into it. Here's the thing nobody tells you about bringing AI into a school district. You do not need a policy. You do not need a committee. You do not need a 2-year adoption cycle. You need 90 days, one real problem, and the willingness to measure whether the thing actually worked. That is the whole game. And today I am going to walk you through exactly how to do it. Welcome back to another episode of Evalve Out Loud. This is episode 4, How to Run a 90-Day AI Pilot. Just a reminder to everybody listening that Evalve Out Loud presents views and opinions that are my own and do not reflect any organization that I work for or am affiliated with in any way. Let's get into it. So I am doing something a little different with some of these episodes. I want to take the big areas I work in and break each one down with a simple framework. 3 questions. What is it? Why does it matter? And how do you actually implement it? No theory for the sake of theory, just the thing, why it is worth your time, and how to do it Monday morning. Today, we are in my first lane, AI implementation in education, and the specific thing I want to put in your hands is the 90-day pilot. Let's start with what it is. A 90-day AI pilot is a small time-box test. You pick one real problem, You pick a tool or a workflow you think might solve it. You run it with a small group for about a quarter, and at the end, you look at the data and you make a call. Keep it, kill it, or expand it. That is it. It is deliberately small, it is deliberately short, and it is deliberately about one thing. What a pilot is not is a district-wide rollout. It is not buying a platform for 10,000 students because a vendor gave a good demo. It is not standing up a committee that meets once a month and produces a document nobody reads. A pilot is the opposite of all that. It is small enough that if it fails, nothing breaks, and cheap enough that you can afford to find out. Think of it like a single classroom trying a new strategy before the whole building adopts it. We already know how to do this in education. We pilot curriculum. We pilot interventions. AI is no different. It is just a new thing to put through the same honest test. Okay, why does this matter? Because the alternative is what most districts actually do, and the alternative is brutal. Here is how it usually goes. Somebody at the top hears about AI. They get nervous or they get excited, and either way, the response is the same. Let's form a task force. Let's write a policy. Let's take our time and do this right. And I get the instinct. But while that committee is meeting, 2 things are happening. 1, your teachers are already using AI. They are just doing it quietly with no guidance because you have not given them any. And 2, the problem you were trying to solve is still sitting there unsolved month after month. I lived in that world for 10 years. I watched good ideas die in process. I watched work take 2 full school years to get from "we need this" to in front of a kid. 2 years. By the time the system says yes, the moment is gone. A pilot is how you cut that loop. It gives you real evidence instead of opinions. It lets you fail small instead of failing big and public. And it builds trust because your staff sees you actually trying something instead of just talking about it. Let me give you a real one. A little while back, I automated an email. It pulled together a bunch of free virtual professional learning opportunities from a pile of different organizations, sorted them by topic, and sent them out to my staff. From the idea to clicking send took me under 2 minutes. That same task done by hand would have eaten an hour. Easy. Within 24 hours, I had a stack of thank yous in my inbox. That is a pilot. Small problem. 1 workflow, a number I could point to, time saved, and people who noticed. I did not need a policy to do it. I needed a willingness to try one thing and measure it. And here is the part people miss. A pilot is safer than the slow route, not riskier. When you go small and you measure, you contain the risk. When you go big because a vendor promised you the world, that is when you get hurt. So let's get practical. How do you actually run one? 4 steps. I am going to keep these simple on purpose. Step 1, Pick the use case and pick a boring one. Do not start with the flashiest thing AI can do. Start with the thing that wastes the most time and has the lowest stakes. Drafting first-pass communication, summarizing long documents, organizing professional learning options like I just described. Pick something where if the AI gets it wrong, a human catches it before it matters. Save the high-stakes stuff for after you have earned some confidence. Step 2. Vet it for privacy. This is the one you cannot skip. Before a single student record goes anywhere near a tool, you ask the questions. Where does the data go? Is it FERPA compliant? Is student information being used to train somebody else's model? If you cannot answer those, you do not pilot it with student data. And here's the good news. A lot of the time you can run your whole first pilot on adult workflows and never touch student data at all. That is a feature, not a limitation. Step 3. Run it small and run it for real. Pick a handful of people who actually want to be there. Volunteers, not voluntolds. Give them the tool, give them a little training, and then get out of the way. Let them use it for real work for about 90 days. Check in, but do not hover. Step 4. Measure outcomes and decide what you are measuring before you start, not after. What does success look like? Maybe it is hours saved per week. Maybe it is how many of your pilot group are still using the tool on day 90 without you nagging them. Maybe it is a simple survey. Pick your number up front, then at the end, look at it honestly and make the call. Keep, kill, or expand. That is the whole thing. Pick the use case, vet for privacy, run it small, measure outcomes. Here is why I love this approach. It takes AI from a scary, abstract, district-wide decision and turns it into something small and human and testable. You are not betting the farm, you are running an experiment, and experiments are allowed to fail. That is what they are for. If you want the actual checklist for this, I built one. It is the District AI Pilot Checklist. It is free, and it walks you through all 4 of these steps with the boxes to check under each one. I will put the link in the show notes. And if you are sitting on a problem right now and you are not sure it is a good first pilot, that is exactly the kind of thing I help districts figure out. There is a link to book a call in the notes too. But mostly, I just want you to take the smaller swing, pick one problem, give it 90 days, find out. That is the show. Thanks for listening. Till next time.
All right, that's it for this one. If something here landed, share it with someone who gets something out of it. If it didn't, hey, it's part of the deal too. You can find more of what I'm working on at evalveconsulting.com. Book a call if you want to talk through what you're dealing with. Talk to you later.